What's up? What's up? Okay, so I've got a little bit of time right now before I get into the office. That office with a picture of me hanging up. Thank you, Molly Artie, again for that wonderful birthday present. Lauren says she loves being over here washing dishes in the kitchen at night and sometimes looking up and just seeing me staring at her. Um, it's the little things. Very nice. Anyway, I'm happy to have a little bit. What's going on? What's going on, Geo? So I have some things in mind for tonight's show already, and I just wanted to see what the hell's on your mind. I want to see what's on your mind. What's up, Brad? What's up, Valerie? What's going on, Dark Brain? Pony Girl. You know, that's funny. Pony Girl. I don't know what where Aurora comes up with all of her sass and stuff, her little sayings, but she calls me Pony Boy. I don't know what it is. She goes, she'll say something like, "Don't go over there, Pony Boy," or she'll come up to me, she'll caress my face, she'll go, "My Pony Boy," and I'm like, what does that mean? She'll call me Pony Boy. So I that and other things. She makes up little names. I can already, and this is just like, I don't know. I love that stuff. It's very fascinating. What's going on, Jimmy? What's going on, Benny? The Outsiders. No, I've never seen it, Katie. Pony Girl and Pony Boy. Ah, Cheryl Ann. I don't. I never heard of it. I never seen it. Well, Aurora's never seen it. What's going on, Star? Good to see Star in there. So it must not be. Oh, by the way, we need a few more mods. Anybody wants to help being any longtime viewers have been that are out there that want to help. What the hell's in my eye? Is it one of these long, luscious eyelashes of mine? Need a few more mods at Rumble, one or two more on YouTube, things like that. Gonna be throwing some wrenches out soon. Anyway, there's a few other things going on that we got going on over here, and I want to pull you guys in for it tonight. All right, Julian Assange. Got to get back to that again because, of course, the news of the release is awesome, obviously, but there is all the unknown details that we still have, and everybody's conspiracy theories about it. What do you think's going on with the timing of all of this, and what did he really have to plead to? What was the plea deal, right, Wintrell? What was the plea deal? That's what you're saying. As soon as Margie called into the show last night to break the news live on the air, I said, okay, well, if he's going to Australia, what is he allowed to talk about? Who's going to be watching him for the rest of his life? Because it's just too big. First thing I thought about was the deal that Mark Warner and James Comey were working on for a little while with Julian Assange to get him into the country, and they're going to talk about exoneration if he was able to give anything that they had on Russia, and then all of a sudden that was no. They didn't do that. They obviously wanted to keep the whole Russia lie alive, but it's more than just Russia. Where did the DNC stuff come from? That's connected to murder. There that's huge. That's so what he's got in his head, what he knows is enormous. If it's still him, and people seem to think it is him, he's been through the ringer, but it is him. And now he's the father of 2 children, and he's going to be watched like a hawk. Because just on the Seth Rich angle alone, I mean, there's just so much. There's so much there. Um, so my question is, what the hell's in there? And like, I mean, I guess most of you probably knew this too, as soon as you heard it. But Tucker Carlson is obviously all over this. There's no way in hell that he's not sitting down with Julian Assange in Australia. It's just going to be interesting to see where he goes and where he doesn't go with that interview. Let's see here. Why isn't WikiLeaks still a force to truth seekers? Why isn't it still a force? Well, I don't know. Especially during his incarceration, there's a lot of weird stuff with WikiLeaks that people kind of became a little disillusioned, and there was a lot of duplicate releases. I don't know. I don't know. I don't know what the structure of the organization was in Julian's wake, in his absence, I should say. But I stopped paying attention. I don't even know if I follow WikiLeaks on Twitter anymore. I stopped paying attention to it. It's the same old releases over and over again, and they did a little bit of a. I know that they pissed some people off by doing a little bit of doxing of was it Border Patrol agents or something like that. They did some doxing of something, I forget. Anyway, that was all secondary to Julian Assange as an individual, because that was it. Okay, so I'm just gonna put the plea. I'm just gonna write the plea deal down. The plea deal. You know, we can open the lines on that, but of course, if there's not if there's nothing out there, then there's nothing that anybody knows except speculation. The plea deal has not yet been finalized. Well, he's gone, isn't he out? WikiLeaks released this. Let me see here. Julian Assange is free. He left Belmarsh Maximum Security Prison on the morning of the 24th of June after having spent 1,901 days there. He was granted bail by a high court in London and was released at Stansted Airport during the afternoon, where he boarded a plane and departed the UK. Would they allow him to leave Belmarsh without a plea being finalized and agreed to? So I don't know. Anybody out there know the system a little bit better than I do? Would you let anybody out? He met with the U.S. for conditions and was released. Okay. So is it possible that it was just on a handshake at this point and they're drafting up the papers? Let's see here. Court on an island with American jurisdiction. Yeah. Yeah. What was it? Guam? Odd. Throughout the years, imprisonment, persecution, incredible movement has been formed. People. Anyway. All right, dude. What the flip? What the flip? What? I can't. The leaf blower? There's nothing I can do about that, my friend. Nothing I can do about that. So, all right. Julian Assange, the plea deal. What else do we have? What else do we have tonight? You guys let me know. Is there something you want to discuss? I have a couple of little things still about thin places. No, Lauren is not doing the leaves. Lauren just she had to go out to do run a couple of errands. Dropped Aurora off at my sister-in-law's. I was gonna bring Aurora up to the park to get a morning workout in, but that didn't work out. I'll do that later on. Um, I wouldn't kick Assange out of bed if he farted. Okay. All right. Well, there's that. Has anybody been kicked out of bed for a fart in the audience? Have you ever been expelled from the bedroom for that? I know Plick. There's a lot of weird people on the internet, and chat rooms. It gets really messy in chat rooms. You just got to wait out. Just gonna wait out. Let me see. I did the kicking. I did the kicking. Okay. Marina Island. Okay. I don't have that. I have a few more thin place updates I wanted to do. Thin place updates. Let's see. Can you ask me a dirty question? No. No. I'm actually very clean this morning. This morning I woke up clean because I take my showers before bed. So I feel really nice. I don't want to feel filthy until after my workout later on. So don't do it. Keep up the good work. Well, thank you, Mark. Thank you. I guess you guys can just riff a little bit, I guess, because everything else is just going to be on, looks like that's all people are talking about this morning. Julian Assange. Rightfully so. But, other headlines. There we go. Now they're analyzing the national debt and trying to make that a point of differential between Joe Biden and Donald Trump. That's interesting. Soon they'll do that for the shots. Ransomware group claimed to have hacked the Fed. I saw that on the Daily Dot yesterday. Let's see. Q prediction on Julian. You know, I have it in my. I feel like the leaf blowers are like swarming the house. Like the house is the sun, and the leaf blowers are the planets. I know that just offended a few of you out there. But I feel that's what's happening right now. Let me see. The Julian Assange thing, it made me think of all the Q stuff. It did. And I wrote it down as a note because you can't separate it. You can't separate it. I mean, Julian Assange and WikiLeaks, that's how we knew about Pizzagate. And that's real. That's very real. And then one thing led to another, and I mean, it really is all connected there. So it's part. I have to find a way to make it part of that show because I got an email from somebody a couple of weeks ago about Q, and I don't get emails about that very often, but it's from a guy that we've become really good friends over the years. I said, you know what? It's an interesting question to ask everybody. Like, what happened? What do you think it was all about? You know, where did it leave off? And how do you see the whole thing? Was it AI? Was it all manipulation? Obviously, it was co-opted at the end. It's been turned into a cudgel, just like January 6th. I mean, the mainstream media talks about Q more than we ever did when it was still a fresh, exciting internet scavenger hunt kind of a thing that was waking sleepy people up that were just starting to smell a rat. Um, I always, at least when we were in the middle of it, I always saw it as a net positive, just because of that that engagement kind of a thing. Just because of how engaged people were. Once you get rapture dates and once everybody starts acting like they're going to be part of the arrest, like, I mean, there's way too many people out there, especially boomers. They got hooked the hardest. They got hooked the hardest. You know, they didn't. They stopped watching The Price is Right, and they started reading. They started reading shit on 4chan. It's a very hard jump to make. Okay, to go from The Price is Right to 4chan is a very hard jump to make. You have to be able to ease yourself into it. A lot of people thought that they were going to be the one to put the handcuffs on John Podesta themselves, and it got kind of cringe real fast. But but still, there's a lot, and now it's verboten. Now it's verboten. Okay, nobody wants to talk about it at all. It's almost like something that happened, so, like farting in bed. Okay, it's like somebody farted in bed. Let's just not talk about it. Somebody farted during sex. That's it. Okay, that's what it is. Okay, everybody was having a good time, and then, all right, let's not talk about it. That's what it feels like right now. So I want to bring it up. Why the hell not? I think it should be brought up. Now the real question is, am I able to tie it in with the Julian Assange thing tonight? Because because it is part of it, and it really would just be a caller. It would be a caller driven show. Because I don't remember too much. I was never the type that could ever quote Q posts like they're Bible verses. Some people had these crazy Mayan calendar, circular calendars, and they're doing all those deltas, and that started getting, my eyes went cross with that stuff. But it'd be I still remember, I was there, just like you all were. So that would be interesting. That would be interesting. Maybe I can make that work tonight. Who knows? A Tuesday call-in show from Studio A. Maybe I can get Zach. Maybe I can get Zach Payne to call in. You know who I'm going to be talking to again soon? You remember I told you guys I had to reach out to Dave from the X-22 report just to make sure he wasn't mad at me? Because the last time I was on the spotlight, we had a pretty line in the sand disagreement about Trump and the necessity for the shots and all that stuff, and I was just like, nah, that's a non-starter for me, Dave. And I thought that he might have been mad at me because we never spoke again. Well, I reached out to him, I think sometime around the holidays, just to say, hey man, what's up? Hope you're well. And he got back to me really enthusiastic. Hey man, it's been a long time. Let's get together. And I said, all right, we'll talk after the holidays and stuff. And I was like, oh shit. I said, I thought you were mad at me. He goes, no, absolutely not. Absolutely not. So I waited another 6 months or so, and I reached out to him, I don't know, 2 days ago. I said, hey man, what's going on? I would love to have you back on the show at some point. What's your schedule like? First thing he did was schedule me. So I'm going to be appearing on the spotlight again on July 16th, and then I'll make sure that he is back on. Quite frankly, after that, and I gotta ask him a lot of this stuff. I gotta ask him a lot of like retrospective stuff because I just saw that Dave is like he just had one of the Trump sons on with him. You know, so now, I mean, I mean, he's in the line. How far inside the circle is he? I don't know, but he's there. And I've heard things like from people like whenever Trump or anybody on the inside is actually asked a question about Q, it's almost like they're embarrassed. Like they know what's going on out there. They know what people are saying, what they're reading, and whatever. They know that there's a level of enthusiasm that they don't want to upset, but they also don't want to get too close to it, and they don't know how to handle it. So, and that's one of those things where I always assumed. I wonder if it's like that. I wonder if it's like that for Trump, because there's no way he doesn't know about it. It was showing up at all of his rallies and stuff like that. But how do you handle it, especially if it's not what everybody thinks it is? Um, it's another reason why I know that Trump's got to know about how damaging the serum is, because you can't avoid it. Let's see. Roseanne loves him. Yeah, Roseanne's another one I gotta get back on. I just want her in studio though. I can't believe that she's avoided New York this long. Trolls are the true heroes. Trolling and mockery is definitely, yeah. There also becomes a limit to everything. There's a limit to everything where everything, once you cross a certain threshold, there's not a lot of usefulness to it. After a while, a troll is no better than AI. A troll is no better than AI. People think that just dropping nonsense and spamming a chat room is trolling. Like dental misorder just said it right there in the chat room. Trolling is an art form. It's subtle. Yes. No. No. Well, I hope we're on the same page, dental. It's subtle. The best trolls are subtle, and like all misinformation, there's really strong elements of truth, because the whole point is that you're trying to drag somebody along down a path that ultimately makes them look foolish. But people think that spamming a chat room is trolling. It's just spamming a chat room. That's it. The best trolls are someone who really, it's almost like method acting. You're immersing yourself into a character. Not too dissimilar from LARPing. Well, like I said, it's not absolute there. Someone just said Alex Stein is a good example. Yeah, he's not subtle, but he's not subtle to people who know who he is. When he shows up at a local school board meeting before people, Tom Green, at one point, nobody knew who Tom Green was. They just knew that there was a guy, possibly mentally ill, that just showed up to their store and is, deep throating all the cucumbers. I mean, is that a troll, or is that just a mentally ill person? When Alex Stein shows up to a local school board meeting in the middle of, Kansas, and nobody knows who he is, and he is getting into and he's playing into a real left-wing social justice warrior character that is reality for a lot of people now. What we see today, I mean, that's, you would think that a lot of people walking around muttering to themselves in the streets of New York right now are trolling. They're not. They're actually that sick, and this is so you can say, Alex Stein is bombastic and he's out there, but for people who don't know who he is, it's subtle because the world is really that crazy, and that's the whole point. You know, that's but then again, like I said, there's no absolutes. There's no absolutes. And there's just trolling and there's shit posting. So I would say that Alex Stein has a little bit of both in him. He's like a living, breathing shit poster and a troll, and he's gotten his message across. He's gotten his point across. Let's see here. Dave does a great job. I've been listening to him for going on 10 years. I haven't. I really haven't listened to anybody in a while. Yeah, I haven't really listened to anybody in a while. It's one of those things. Did Mark Dice not start doing the Alex Stein thing? Oh, Mark Dice is the OG. Mark Dice is an OG. Um, he's trolled. He's gone out there and played characters in public settings. He's also is one of those really awesome OGs with man on the street stuff. Mark Dice is a guy I would love to have be friends with the show. Always would have loved to have him on the show. Oh, he's been around much longer. Are you absolutely sure, says Jimmy. Sure about what, Jimmy? Let's see. My favorite Mark Dice bit was the potion to stop women's suffering age. It's women's suffer age. It was hilarious. I don't remember that one. Mark Dice needs a silver spoon taped to his mic. I used to love when Sasha Cohen would mess with illegal aliens. Hey, there's a great question to ask everybody right now in the chat room. Aside from, quite frankly, because I have to imagine that most of you tune in on a semi-regular basis, what shows do you listen to and watch regularly? To me, I'm just constantly listening to old Coast to Coast and reading, but I'm bad. I'm real bad. You never miss Velas. I like when Velas is on. Tim, Tim Pool, John Ward, No Agenda, Crow. Oh, the Crow. That's another one that I should have had on a while ago. I sent a couple of messages. I should try again. Styx Hexenhammer stood me up twice. Jimmy Dore. He's on like a guest wish list too. Local radio. SGT, Russell Brand, Archaics. I'm subscribed to Archaics, and I keep telling myself start watching and start trying to understand what his deal is. Um, and I got to get started. I want to understand what the hell the deal is there. Russell Brand, Tim Pool, Enslaved by Truth. Well, there's a few things here I never heard of before. Razor Fist, absolutely. Ground Zero, Clyde Lewis. I listen to Clyde a lot. The Secret Teachings, that's usually after Clyde. Alpha Warrior has an incredible story. Roseanne, Fleckus, Amazing Polly, Miss Polly. Um, Rams Paul. Seen people say that. What is Rams Paul? Tracy, Luke, we are change. Tracy, Jordan Sather. There's a name I haven't heard in a long time. A long time. Jordan's been on the show quite a few times. We stopped. We like don't cross paths anymore after the several deplatformings. But we have to be all in the same places again. What is he still doing? Jordan Sather would do the Jordan would do the marker board stuff with Q and everything else too. Does he still do that? I still listen to Isaac Weishaupt after seeing him on Frank, even though he's a bit of a lib. Really? See, I don't know that. I don't know Isaac that well, outside of having him on that one time. I'd like to have him. Was he on once or twice? I don't know. I'd like to have him back in July around the anniversary of the White Sands nuclear testing, because of course that is such a key point in the Twin Peaks timeline, that the White Sands nuclear test was when we ruptured that that veil between dimensions and things started bleeding over. I would I got to get in touch with him and see. The Y Files is my jam. Too much politics rots your brain. Definitely. Definitely. I feel like we did a good show last night, but afterwards I felt like I spent the entire after last night, the 7 o'clock show, because I had to talk about the things that I saw with the Alexandria Ocasio Cortez and the Jamal Bowman things, that because that's my district, you know, that's part of the craziness that's going on just around my New York 16 district. Um, but let me tell you, when I got off at 8:45 or so, I felt like I had just spent the last hour and 45 minutes eating cotton candy. I just I'm very selective about the news nights that we do. I just feel like if we have a good topic of conversation, everything becomes relative. You know what I mean? I feel like everything becomes relative, and we get enough callers coming in talking about things that matter. It's always going to lead back to what's going on in the world, and we don't have to OD on these fucking headlines. Um, so I'm very selective about that. Chad Ripperger, Father Chad Ripperger, I think that say his name. I'd love to have him on, especially now that his big time. There was like about 2 years ago, everybody was talking to Father Chad. Everybody was talking to him because he was an exorcist. He is an exorcist that's making himself available to people. So if he's going on, Daily Wire shows and everything else, he's probably not going to give me a second look or a first look. And B, I don't like just jumping on the gravy train. But now that he's kind of calmed down, I'd love to have him on and talk to a Catholic exorcist, because we talked to Bill Bean, who's Protestant. I love talking to Bill Bean. I would love to have him on again soon too. But I would love to talk to a Catholic exorcist. Been looking all over for one of them. Maybe I can get Pope Francis on the show. Can you imagine if Pope Francis came on my show? What the hell would I? Oh man, I have to spend a lot of time putting some. You want to talk about trolling? That is when I would have to be at my top form, straight poker faced troll. I'd have to ask questions that are so mul- that are so like a double meaning. It would have to have like triple and quadruple meaning. My God, Quite Francis. I mean, oh yeah, that's what it would be called, the Quite Francis episode. My God. Francis needs an exorcism, says Tom. Yes. Yes. That's the first thing I ask him. Yes. The first thing I ask Pope Francis, are you a Catholic? Vigano. Yeah, well that's the real one. Vigano. Actually, Vigano was going to be my original open door into the Q conversation, because when he was invited, commanded back to the Vatican to face an excommunication trial, uh, all of the mainstream coverage of Vigano is about that he's a QAnon conspiracy theorist. Like I said, it's become a cudgel for the mainstream media. Um, and those are the only people who are allowed to talk about it now. You know, I don't know. Is tonight the night for that conversation? It might be. I'm feeling like it would be. Let's see. Out with the spirit, pony boy. I can hear Aurora saying that. GDSOB. What's going on, GD? ¿Cómo está? Exactly, the hallmark of a psycho. Same thing with the S hook. What are you talking about? The S hook. Good grief. Vigano is, I think, a prophet. Vigano is, I wouldn't, a prophet? First of all, I wouldn't know how to classify somebody as a prophet. But I think Vigano just is, I mean, then we're prophets. Vigano is the, I mean, he's very, very well educated and very well trained. But I think we're prophets then, because he's seeing things. He's very articulate and identifying the situation that we're in. And maybe that's what I do tonight. I start with Vigano, read his open letter to Trump that identifies the deep church and the deep state, and then read the email that I got from my friend about QAnon, Q, and then just leave it up to you guys. That could be it. That could be a good one. Critical Drinkers, fantastic. He's another one I'd love to have on the show. I think the only chance I have of getting him on is maybe for Chrissy Mayer and Frank Pellegrino to get me an introduction. I'm close to getting Turtle Boy on. Got to follow up with him again. Ah, yes. Lauren just sent me a picture of a fall time cafe, and she says, "Hey, I know that we're busy loving summer, but this is cozy." Yeah, it is. Yeah, it is. Let's see. Ryan Dawson. I've tried a few times with Ryan Dawson, and I don't know. I love his work. I've listened to him on several streams, but just I don't know. I got the impression he didn't want to come on, but I'll definitely try again. That would be a big Israel night, obviously. And yeah, Davy Crocco. I heard about Davy Crocco, and I don't know. That's just a very sad. That's a sad story right there. When I heard about him dying, because Davies, I knew something was up. Just the way that he would present himself and the quite frankly discord and stuff. I just thought something was up, and I heard he was going through a hard time, obviously, and that's very sad. I can't believe that it was. Yeah, Nikki just said that was a few years ago now. How were Aurora's Madeleines? They're great. There's still a couple of left over there. I had them on Sunday. I had one on Sunday. Aurora had a few. Infowars. Abby. Oh wait, that would be a good one. Who's? Let's see. Brother Davy was taken by his demons. Yeah. All right. Well, I'm going to leave it to you guys. Spam the chat with ones if you think the Vegano Assange Q topic, call-in topic, would be good for tonight. Spam 2 for nah, because I have other places we can go. Is that what do you think? Boy, the ones have it so far. I only saw 2 twos. There's a 3 in there for good measure, of course. For 1 minute. Okay. All right, I got you. A 7 for good measure. See, there you go. There, Jeffrey Bailey said no Q hopium. See how I'm talking? It's crazy how it's verboten. It's verboten. It's crazy. You can't bring it up at all by both sides now. See, it's like something happened and don't discuss it at all. Nobody said anything about it being being hopium or digging into it to try to figure. That's what I'm talking about. The reaction is not, and listen, from the beginning there were plenty of people that said, listen, this is a 4chan LARP. We've seen shit like this a lot, but it's this seems to be a little bit more complex of an issue. Some people from the beginning said this is definitely AI generated, and now we've had a lot more time to assess what ChatGPT kind of AI text can produce, and it very well could be that it was AI the whole time, that it was turned off after a certain point. So again, I just think that as a retrospective, it's a phenomenon that we all lived through, and it's worthy of some discussion, at least at some point. At some point, it's worthy of some discussion. Everybody's gonna have a different take on it, but the browbeating and or I should say the using it as a censorship tool is very weird, because both sides use it. Anywho, all right. Do fake tech miracles instead. Fake tech miracles? You see, there's Alex Burrows. The Q proofs are beyond question at this point. Well, here's the question. And then there would be a follow-up question there. Is it at all possible? We talk about happiness machines. The internet being a happiness machine. The internet, the digital world being, because this is all existing on a digital world. The internet being a place that is run by algorithms and feedback loops. We were discussing this a few weeks ago when I brought up the old economic markets being run on a feedback loop as well. And once we got into the social media age, those feedback loops started selling lifestyle narratives, which devolved into these social justice cult circles. Is it not possible that there is a way that Q proofs could actually over time be generated by the feedback that is going into the system that we're taking out, that is stimulating us into action, that is actually manifesting in real life? Is it not a reality machine at the same time? I don't know. That's one of those things. What's it called? Julie says, "I think Q is us from the future." See, this is a great, this is a great topic. This is a great topic, especially now all these years have passed. All right. Well, we'll see what happens. It seems like a ready-made show to me. Uh, Anyhow, all right. Well, you guys have been great. I'm going to go and finish this iced coffee. And I hope you guys are all joining me tonight, 7 o'clock. Wherever the hell you are, it doesn't matter. Wherever you join, have a good one. Maybe I'll run through this Epoch Times. I don't need the news section. Families sue after Vermont revokes foster licenses. CCP may be probing us through military base breaches. Absenteeism at school way above pre-COVID levels. Biden announces deportation protections. Yeah, who the hell needs to read that? What's at the top? The brain after midnight. Mind and body. Date night inspiration. Oh. Oh. Let's see. Wait a second. Before you go. The opinion, mind and body. Preventing microplastics from invading our bodies. I have a guest coming on that's going to talk to us about how to get nanotech out of our bodies. Autism rates surge beyond genetics and diagnosis. I wonder what's going on there. Hold on. Don't go anywhere. How what you eat affects your skin. How you are what you eat. Late bedtime linked to higher rates of depression and anxiety. Oh, I thought it was going to tell me, keep staying up and working late, Frank, because you're doing great and your mind just comes alive. Late bedtime linked to higher rates of depression and anxiety. Large-scale study finds you relish those late nights, burning the midnight oil as a badge of honor, but that exhilarating lifestyle of staying up into the wee hours may be silently sabotaging your mental health. You're right. You're damn right it does. A large-scale new study from Stanford Medicine suggests that no matter your chronotype, late bedtime significantly increased the risk of depression, anxiety, and other behavioral disorders. The results were very unexpected. Jamie Zeister, senior author of the study and professor of psychiatry and behavioral sciences at Stanford, told the Epoch Times. While the reasons early risers tend to have better mental health than night owls remain unclear, we know it's related to the timing of sleep. Yeah, you know, this is what Jay Gulanello's trying to. This has been telling me for a long time. Not only just with the eating, but the sleeping. Those. That's it. Researchers initially expected that aligning your sleep schedule with your biological chronotype or sleep preference would benefit mental health, but their analysis of the data from 73,888 adults, that's a significant sample size, published by Psychiatry Research, shows that regardless of whether a person naturally prefers morning or evenings, going to bed early is associated with better mental health outcomes. And early bedtime seems to override the effects of chronotype when it comes to mental well-being. Tips for night owls. For night owls looking to adjust their sleep schedules, Dr. Kenny suggests a gradual approach. changing food and sleep intake by 15 minutes. Oh yeah, I know. I have to stop eating by 5 o'clock. See, I should have already eaten. 10:25. I should have, by between 9 and 5. That's when I should have gotten everything in. But I think I can get everything in between 12 and 5. I think I can get 170 grams of protein, 180 grams of protein between 12 and 5. Just got to do it. That's number one. Number two, though, I don't know. I was in the shower last night at. I got into the shower at 12:30 because I'm just cleaning things up. I'm organizing my thoughts and my notes for the next day. Get in there, start showering, listening to some old radio and all that stuff, and it just feels great. I get into bed, and then of course, I guess the biggest thing is Aurora right now. Because if I guess it doesn't matter if you get your 7.5 hours in. With Aurora hovering over you at 5:56 in the morning, that's not good. That's not good. I don't like the Epoch Times. That guy always had a pen in his hand. I agree with what he's saying, but people who talk with a pen in their hands are anal retentive. Which guy? Who at the Epoch Times? I just got the Epoch Times because I know it's not the New York Post or the New York Times. All that, it's just crap now. And I usually throw the news section away. I love the mind and body section. The life and tradition section is awesome. I wish I could just subscribe to the life and tradition section, especially around holiday times. There's just great stuff in here. Poetry, holiday related history, whether it be patriotic or whatever else. Literature. There's just some good stuff. They even have a funny paper section. I give it to Aurora, and she reads the Peanuts comics. And it only comes once a week. And I can skim through it, and that's that. If it came once a day, it would have been over a long time ago, because I don't have that kind of time. I need a weekly paper. That's why I would like to do, quite frankly, I would like to do a quarterly paper with, quite frankly. Every 3 months, a paper goes out. Maybe just the size of one of these sections. I'd like to do a quite quarterly. I don't know. Let's see. Last thing. Quarterly magazine. A magazine would be something else there too. All right. What depresses me is some white coat telling me I got to go to bed early. I know, Jesse. I don't want nobody to tell me that shit. But I don't know. Maybe we'll see. It's impossible for me to go to bed early. What am I going to do? I'm off by 9 o'clock. Sometimes I got band practice after that. Sometimes I got book club after that. There's 10. By the time I get everything uploaded to podcast, I mean, it's going to be very hard. Maybe if the only thing I can do is possibly shave off enough time to get into bed by 11:30. That's all I can think. But anyhow, I'll see you guys soon. Tonight at 7 o'clock. Quite frankly.tv or here. Be good. Quite frankly, bingo. GD, there is bingo already. GD, there's bingo. I don't know if that's what's already come up, but in the Gilded chat, and I've made a secret Discord again. It's a speakeasy. I'm gonna let people know about it, because the Discord is probably the only place I'll be able to get those calls again. The Gilded chat does not work well for calls. The only person who ever got through successfully was Albert, rest in peace. Um, so yeah, I'll see you tonight. Be good. Take care, and see you later. Ask Mark Swan about the bingo if you want to play some.